Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the very first English 101 video. This one is the end of Unit 2. Before I get into that, I want to say that I really never imagined myself to be in this situation, or that we would be in this situation. For the first half of the semester, we were in class together 4 days a week, and we got to know each other. We worked on things together, and it was really, at least from my point of view, a great situation. And here we are, spread all over the state, or even further, really. And we're trying to keep on with the business of English 101, and you guys are trying to keep on with all the things that you have to do related to your schoolwork, doing it remotely and from your home. And it's not the same, but I guess we're all just going to do the best we can and try to get through the semester. I will say that I really cherish the days that we were in class together, and I do miss those, and I miss seeing you guys every day. So, on to the business. First of all, I want to congratulate you on finishing paper number 2. That is the second of the 4 papers that we'll be doing this semester. A traditional essay, though with a kind of a difficult topic, which I'll say more about in a minute. We'll take a moment, as we do, to appreciate this. You've done half the work of the semester, half the papers of the semester, and that's a significant milestone, and perhaps all the more significant because of everything we're going through with the university being closed. So, hey, congratulations on getting paper number 2 done. I can't wait to read your papers. In scanning over the drafts this week through the paper number 2 revision Q&A forum, I saw a lot of good writing and a lot of good ideas, and so I really can't wait to see the final drafts. And I will be reading those and getting them back to you in the next few days, or really it'll be the next week to week and a half. The value of paper number 2 is one that you have to write an essay and you have to make an argument and sustain it over 5 to 6 pages, or for some of you quite a bit more than that. But in the grand scheme of things, in your careers after English 101, and certainly your careers after you leave NC State, you're not going to be writing essays in which you explore films and archetypes and those kinds of things. But there really is a practical application to what we're doing, and that has to do with looking at something through a lens and interpreting it. You will do this in your careers. Imagine being in a business situation and looking at, whether it's a business opportunity or looking at the way that your business works or whatever, looking at it in terms of what it does for the customers, looking at it in terms of what it does for profits, what it does for shareholders, what it does in terms of your taxes and those kinds of things. Those are all looking at the same ideas or the same data set from different points of view. And when you look at it from a different point of view, you're going to see different things, you're going to understand different things. It's a really, really important skill. And then to be able to communicate that is important too, right? And that's the beauty of English 101. Now, a couple of words about Unit 2. Obviously, Unit number 2 was a humanities unit, and we looked at it in 2 different ways. One of them has to do with humanities writing. We tried to understand what kind of research humanities scholars do, how they look at things, the ideas of analysis and interpretation and theory, and of course writing and arguing. Those are all vitally important aspects of humanities scholarship. Humanities scholars want to know what things mean, how they work, and then of course we have to be able to communicate the results of our research and our thinking. Beyond that, we got to see, and you got to actually take part in, a good example of humanities research. We're not in the lab, we're not out in the field like the scientists are. We're at home in our libraries or our living rooms or wherever, and we're reading things and we're paying close attention to them. close reading, looking at a text really closely and breaking it down is the bread and butter of humanities scholarship. And you did this in paper number 2. You took a film, right? A movie that you may have watched before and enjoyed, but perhaps didn't think very deeply about, and you had to look at it really closely and break it down and pay attention to particular scenes, particular events, particular pieces of dialogue to think about not just kind of why they're entertaining or how they make us laugh or whatever, but what they mean to the story. And as you applied those to your argument, how they could actually be features of something that's bigger than the story, that is the archetypal plot. That's what we do. We pay very close attention, we find little details, and then we understand or try to understand like why they're important and what makes them significant. And that's really important. The other aspect of our work in the humanities has to do with understanding the human condition, right? Which is, I've mentioned that several times, and usually when I say it, I'm like, man, this is cheesy. And, it kind of is, except, right? All of us have experiences in life, things that we have to deal with, things that we enjoy, things that we don't. And this isn't so much scholarship in the humanities. This has more to do with artistic production in the humanities. But folks who work in the humanities, whether they're writing or painting or dancing or composing or what have you, they're trying to produce something that says something about the human experience. In some cases, they're just trying to reproduce life, right? To paint something or write something or sing something that seems true, right? That seems accurate, that you could watch it or listen to it or see it and say, oh yeah, that makes sense to me. That's real. That's how I understand life to work. In other cases, and kind of bigger and beyond that, you see these humanities practitioners talking about our emotional experiences as people, right? The things that make us happy, the things that make us sad, the things that make us angry or desolate or whatever. And then trying to communicate that and trying to make a listener or a viewer feel something. That's really important, right? The movies that make us laugh, right? That's the humanities. The movies that make us cry, that's the humanities too, right? Those songs that make us want to get up and dance, that's the humanities. For my particular favorite kinds of songs, which are love songs, particularly songs about heartbreak, like old country songs, right? Those songs are really simple. They're kind of corny sometimes, and yet the kind of emotion that they can convey, the truth, the emotional truth that they convey is a really powerful thing, and very artistic and really important, I think, to all of us. So I hope that you have enjoyed our humanities unit. I hope that you've been able to get a few things out of it about the humanities and the role in our lives, about humanities scholarship, and then of course I hope that you've been able to learn and practice a few things about writing as well. That's all for now. I'll be posting another video in the next day or so as an introduction to Unit 3. For Thursday, you're going to read a piece by Gordon Allport, who is known as the founder of the field of social psychology, and I'll give you some additional notes about that. Bye.